Hello and welcome to Realexcel Epilepsy Portal. In today's video, we will discuss caregiver support and we will talk about burnout. Okay, um, if you are a family member, spouse, or a friend who is providing unpaid care to a loved one with epilepsy, seizures, or other health conditions that are chronic and of a physical, cognitive, neurological, or mental nature, this video live stream is for you. I have pre-written this for myself just to keep on track and to remind me what I'm going to be talking about. Caregiver's life is super busy. It composes of not just things that you must do for yourself, but um, I would say hundreds of other things that you have to do for someone else as well. And that you're not just looking after yourself. Anyone who is going through this will understand this point and will understand that um, keeping things organized is very important. Okay, one of these things for myself in my life is writing things down, as I am suffering from my own health issues, plural, and that was a result, of course, of a lot of things that came in together in the past. That would include some accidents and also inactivity after the accidents, and I would say not following through to push myself to recuperate from them. Okay, so fully recuperating, really looking after yourself, after your own health is very, very important. So I know we have a lot of videos for people who have epilepsy. If you do have epilepsy, seizures, and neurological disorders, this would be very also helpful for you because you could, possibly have or understand better the person who's taking care of you, just to have an idea of, how they feel and what they're going through. So I will be talking about this, my personal experiences, and as well I have a few things written down so I could give you some guidance in how you can help yourself deal with things that are happening to you, and things that are only suitable for your own life, because everybody's life is different and everyone has different things that we have to go through. Okay, um, depending on the severity, the type of your disability or chronic illness that you're dealing with, it will depending on that will depend also your involvement in that. Okay, and how much you need to give of yourself, how much care and how much help and assistance the person who has that will need. Okay, so if you're a family member, you're a friend, if you're a neighbor, more than anything, caregiver is a family or friend usually. It could be a spouse, so someone who cares about you and someone who loves you. Okay, so things to remember. All right, so I apologize for the sigh. For myself personally, it has been very hard because I am a single mom of two girls that I've raised myself without any financial or any otherwise help from family or friends. I grew up um, working all the time and taking care of my girls myself. So every single moment that I had free, I would practically be spending with my girls, unless I would find, usually it would be for a short time. I would find some friends who would help me a little bit. But as I said, I had no help. So for those of you who have family and who can ask, I really I really uh, would suggest that you ask them, if you haven't, to help you in your issues, in your hard already life, to help you take care of your loved one, and just take some of the load off to help you sometimes, so you could possibly either go out, or even if it is just by yourself, go for a walk, or go out and do something that you like, some kind of activities outside, because you do need, as I myself, I know that I have needed when I was younger. I've tried to go out as much as I could, and it is important that you find activities that are good for you, that are not self-distracting, that are uh, activities that are gonna add to your emotional well-being. And if you are emotionally well, it will help you to radiate that love back to your loved one. Okay, so you will be able to be more loving. You will be able to provide better care, because you had the time to relax, you had the time outside, and that is very, very important. Okay, so ask your family members, ask your friends. I've even put down neighbors here somewhere. Ask your neighbors. um, Find out programs in your community that can help you to alleviate some of the workload that you have, and that you'll be able to feel that you have that little bit of space for yourself, that you can take care of yourself, that you can relax. Find time, that's of course my personal, that I've tried to always find time for myself when my daughter was sleeping, to a little bit to unwind. And so you look for those moments where you can have some time for yourself and you can relax, and you'll have your me time. Okay, it's very important for your emotional well-being, and for I would say a lot less arguments, because everybody, I would say everybody argues once in a while. And if you are not happy with your life, then it will resonate, and it will reflect itself in what you do and in the way that you treat others. Okay, so that's very important. Be happy with yourself. you know do some painting, music, dancing, whatever it is that you love. Find the time for yourself. Okay, so um, that's my personal advice that I am willing to give you, and I'm pretty sure that anyone who has been going through that understands that as well. So things to remember. So as I go through this, I will give you some of my personal stories as well, and I would like to um, just so you can have an idea of what others go through, so you don't feel isolated, because a lot of people feel isolation. They feel like they're trapped in uh, their everyday life, that they feel that they must do this, and they have no other way of doing things. And this is a huge issue, as I myself felt that way when I was taking care of my kids. This is even yeah, before my daughter started having epilepsy, which started at the age of her 13, when she was 13. And I felt that I was there all the time, but it only happened once in a while. I did not feel like that all the time. So it also depends on your mental reserve, and which I have had personally a lot in my life. And you have to feel okay, being by yourself. You have to feel okay. And if you have to feel strong by yourself, that you're strong enough to do everything that life throws at you. And once you start doing things, you're gonna know that you are that strong, and you find that strength to do the things that you need to do. Okay, so let me go through this things to remember. So know your priorities and adjust them accordingly. Okay, so before my daughter's epilepsy has started, um, my priorities were, just take care of the kids, make sure that they go to school, make sure they eat, that they're healthy, sleeping, going to sleep on time, and things like that, just the regular life things. Okay. um, Excuse me. What When epilepsy has started, I did not understand what it was. And so until you start understanding what it is, and until your loved one starts having seizures, and starts having things happening to them that will require more and more and more of your time, you need to adjust your life accordingly. Okay, so at this point, my life has changed colossally. I have taken a course. I was gonna drive tractor trailer, and I had to I finished the course, I got the AZ license, but have never, I've driven for about a month, that's it. Okay, and then I had to let it go because my daughter's seizures have increased. They had gotten very, very bad. And so my life has changed to the point where I would not be leaving home, because I needed to be there to be able to help her and assist her when she's having seizures. More than anything, when you're starting out to be a caregiver, um, I would, my best tip for any of you would be, educate yourself as much as possible about everything that you can about your loved one's condition. Okay, whatever the condition is, could be seizures, could be if they're diagnosed with epilepsy, could be other excuse me, illnesses that are chronic and that require a lot of attention and a lot of care. So adjusting your life, with how you're gonna deal with the time that you need to be with your loved one. Okay, who's gonna be with your loved one to look after them? Do you make enough money to be able to pay someone to look after them? Or are you gonna change your profession because you have to, because that's what is being required. because of the hours, because of the the financial situation. And so that what has happened in my personal life. I had to adjust my profession. I had to adjust the hours that I have worked. So I have changed them accordingly to what I thought fitted best. Um, the situation that was at the present time, how I understood my life was supposed to be. Okay. Now it always needs to be readjusted because everybody's health changes, okay, with time. So it could get better, it could get worse, and you need to adjust your lifestyle accordingly as well. All right. So my lifestyle was that at first I have changed to nighttime. I've started, working at night. And because I thought my daughter was sleeping, and that didn't work out because then I found out that my daughter wasn't sleeping, that she was staying up all night. At that time, she was given a laptop as a gift. As she was on that thing all night, then she would go to school, obviously sleepy, drowsy, she would not do well at school. And then when I found out, what was happening, then I had to adjust my hours. I had to change things accordingly to the situation, okay? And also accordingly to the severity, okay? So at some point, her seizures got so bad that, we had a lot of close calls, and we had a lot of, um, I had calls that I have made to local EMS. Um, so that's calling ambulance. And when I found out, a few times that they would not either show up on time, they would not perform the way that you're expecting, because you're expecting them to help your loved one in the moment when they show up. And a lot of them come unprepared. They come like they're on a vacation. Some of them come like they're actually doing the work. So I personally, I think it was the area that I lived in, because at that moment um, when I had very little experience with my daughter's seizures, um, I have not gotten the help that I needed at that time. And so this is the purpose of these live streams that I'm doing right now, because I wanted to be able to provide that help to you. A few tips, even if you learn one thing from today's video, from today's stream, that is going to help you to make your life easier. That will make me very happy that I was able to help somebody to make things easier in your life. Okay, so going back to calling the ambulance. And so I have at that time I had to go, and I figured out that I need to know how I can help her. If to learn about epilepsy, to learn about seizures, to learn the signs, if the when the person is not okay, what to do. So first aid is a must. I don't have it here on the, because this is about talking about burnout, so sorry about that. I just kind of, my mind my mind just went there. But yeah, so just on that, I just wanted to say that educate yourself and help yourself to understand seizures better, because that will also help you emotionally to deal with them. Okay. I have always been a person that when things have happened, I would like react in a way that, you know, I'd be all, you know, agitated and relaxed. And, you know, that is how I have learned to react because of the way I was brought up. Okay. Now, years later with Virginia, I have learned to be a little more calm, you know, to deal better with this, to understand that keeping calm it's important when someone's having a seizure. And so those are the things that you learn. And if you learn them faster, and if you can educate yourself and understand a few things about what seizures are and how to take care of them and how to prevent your own burnout, which is very, very important. And that's why today's, you know, video is so important for the caregivers, that you know, that you really have to push for that. Because at the beginning, you know, you may go a year, two, 3, and then, you know, things, if you don't take care of yourself, things are gonna, you know, start changing for you, for your health. And then if you're not healthy, you're not gonna be able to take care of your loved one in the way, you know, that they could get help if you were better off. All right. So know your priorities and adjust them accordingly. All right. So priorities, let's say, you know, your loved one is getting a lot of seizures, and they're getting hurt all the time. Okay, if they're getting hurt all the time, then, you know, one of your priorities would be taking that first aid course. Okay, take as many as you can, repeat them year after, you know, educate yourself online. If you, let's say, if you don't have the funds to do it, there are a lot of very good um, videos on how to take care of, you know, how to do first aid. So accordingly to your own personal situation, you know, find out what you need to know and learn all about it that you can. All right. Number 2, remember to upkeep your own health so you can continue helping others. Okay. Diet is very important. This is not just for people with epilepsy. This is for people who are taking care of people with epilepsy. Okay. Exercise, relaxation, you need to relax. Okay. I have come to the point where I have been in constant fight or flight situation where I would not sleep until I completely pass out because I am so tired that my body no longer can take it. And yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure that it has happened to some of you. So finding a schedule and getting things happen for you. Okay, so schedule your sleep, schedule your relaxation time. Okay, you have to put it on your calendar as it if was a chore. If you don't put down your relaxation time as a caregiver, okay, on your calendar, it will probably not happen because something is gonna come up. We are so busy, there's so many things happening all around us and in our lives that, you know, people just forget to relax. All right. And I have gotten to the point where you know, I've been burnt out. I've been feeling you know, so yeah, I would even say depressed, but to the point where, you know, I just felt that I would take care of my daughter the second and every second that she needed, but I myself felt like I've that I've been burned out. Okay, and when you get to that point, you will know. You feel like, you know, things just feel blah, like nothing, you know, makes you happy and stuff like that. So um because of my fight and flight situation that I've been in all the time, and I've been feeling that because I was scared to go to sleep. I was scared that my daughter was gonna have a seizure, and I am not blaming her. Okay, I want you to understand that I am not blaming my daughter for any of it. Okay, so for those of you guys who are watching who have epilepsy seizures, None of the people who take care of you, who love you, they do it because they feel that they have to. They do it because they love you. Okay. And I've always done everything for my daughter out of love, and I want her to understand that. And I want you guys to understand that this is where I'm coming from, and this is how how I can give you the information from that point of view. Okay, so excuse me. Um, Keeping you all physical and emotional help. Okay, so physically, I have I have had a couple of accidents. Why are you here? Go to mommy. Go to mommy. Go to mommy. Go to mommy. Go sleep with mommy. Okay, this beautiful girl, this beautiful puppy girl. This beautiful puppy. She always lets us know when Virginia is having the tonic-clonic seizures. She makes a lot of noise. Yes, she's a beautiful dog. Yes, she is. And okay, go to mama. Go to mama. Go sleep with mama. Go. Or you sit. Or you sit. Okay, sit. 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 Come on. Okay. Come on. Okay, she's not listening. All right. Okay, go to mommy. Go to mommy. I'm busy now. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to take her out. I don't know why she's. Okay, just give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come. You sleep with mama. Okay? Sleep with mama. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, so my apology. Um, uh, this is one of the helps that you can get. One of the ways of help that you can get. It's a huge emotional help, and for us, we have not had funds to get a seizure dog, but both of the dogs that we've got, Virginia has her own dog, and the one you saw was is my dog, and they both give a proper care to Virginia when she has the seizures. So one of them is making sure that he removes the excess saliva, and Zena, which is my dog, she barks very loudly to let me know that she's having a seizure. Okay, so this has been a great, huge blessing. And if any of you don't have pets and you don't have a dog and you may have, or you're thinking of getting one, it is a lot of work. Okay, you have to know that it will be every day. You have to, feed your dogs, make sure you take them out. They will return, all this by giving you so much love that it will be worth every second, every minute of it. Okay, um, excuse me. So yeah, physical and emotional upkeep. Going back to, especially to the part where I was talking about burning out because of myself being in a constant fight or flight situation. So I was feeling that I could not go fall asleep, because if I fall asleep, that she's gonna have a seizure. That I could not go out anywhere, or if I did, I would rush to, do whatever shopping I had to do, and I would rush home because I was scared that if I left home, that she would have a seizure, and that has happened many times. And then I was blaming myself for leaving, or I was blaming myself for sleeping. And you need to understand that if you are the only caregiver or the only person caring for your loved one, then you really need to see if you could get help somewhere. Okay, if you could get either a family member to live with you, So a little bit of that workload could be, taken off of you. I'm calling it workload because uh, I'm doing it from, from love, but it is something that has to be done, that has to be tended to every day. Okay, you cannot just take off tomorrow and not take care of your loved one. So you know that you're there all the time, and I want my daughter to know that I'm doing it out of love. I'm going to repeat it again because many of you may think, oh, sometimes and my daughter even said, oh, sometimes I feel like, you're doing all this, that it's so hard for you. And I said, Virginia, I'm doing it because I love you. Okay, I'm doing it because I choose to. All right, so this is my choice. Okay, everybody has choice in life, and this is my choice. And when you're choosing to help someone, you're choosing it because you want to. All right, and you need to understand that emotional upkeep. Okay, so when things get really really hard, you need to understand, and you need to understand why you're doing, ask yourself why you're doing this. Okay. um, Physical, it's a huge physical strain on myself. It has been more than anything because what has happened because of that flight and fight and flight situation. So I was in constant, constant stress, and my body would be tense 24/7. That goes for nights, that goes for days. So my body has, run down, um, a huge burnout, physical, maybe not even as much emotional as most than more than anything physical. Okay, so I have started getting sick. The two accidents that I had nothing to do with my stress, but I did have accidents which put a huge, physical, what do you call it? A huge physical mountain on top of me. Okay, and weight. Okay, physical weight that just added to what I was already doing. So, getting that help anywhere that you can, which I will talk about it in at the end of the video. Getting that help wherever you can. So even asking your neighbors, even asking friends, go make some new friends with people who go through something similar in their life. Um, if they have, some people, sometimes caregivers can help each other. Let's say, you could get together, or you could come to each other's house, and let's say take care of someone else's loved one, as in exchange, because you understand that they need that time off, and then they can come and help you in return when you need it. Okay, so that's one of many ways that you can find a relief from having to be there, because sometimes you can't be there 24/7. There are situations in life where you have to leave, where you have to go and do things on your own, and then if something happens to your loved one, you feel guilty about it. Okay, so that has been happening in my personal life. And even though I understand, when I apply the mindfulness, that I understand that I can't be 24/7, the guilt still, the guilt's still there. So applying mindfulness and understanding that part where you forgive yourself, if you weren't there, to help them at the time, is very important as well. So emotional support, going for, to be a part of epilepsy groups, or any other types of groups, let's say MS, or some people have dementia. So getting any type of support that you can um, in your group. So let's say if you have epilepsy, we have Epilepsy Toronto, okay, where you can go and you can get support for people with epilepsy, and you can get support for caregivers as well, okay. And you need that support, you need that emotional support, you need information. So being part of those groups is very important. Now a lot of emotional support is very important. We have started a Facebook group which is called a Realexcel Epilepsy Portal. That's different from the page, which is also called the Realexcel Epilepsy Portal. The page is for everyone, and the support group is for people with epilepsy and seizures and families and loved ones, friends. So if you would like to be a part of the group, it is a closed group and it's for that purpose. Okay. So number three, prevent burnout by doing things for yourself that make you happy. Okay. I sorry. I think I erased that when I was taking the dog out. Um, so what are the things that can make you happy? I personally, uh, a lot of people love watching movies. When I do watch movies or shows, it takes my mind off, present things that are happening. So sometimes, or a lot of times, if I'm, let's say, in physical stress or emotional stress, I will go and take my mind off of things, okay, by watching something. Uh, that said, uh, that's not a resource that should be applied every single time, because being outside is very important. So for those of you who don't go outside at all, I would strongly suggest to go outside. You need vitamin D for both of you. Vitamin D, magnesium is very important. So vitamin D3, you only get it when you're outside, okay, during the day. So my daughter's bones got so brittle because she's been indoors for the whole past of the last year. She has been indoors. She has not been getting off of her bed. She's been in bed practically 24/7. And she has not even wanted to go out, okay? Until both of her legs were broken. We have videos. It's like a really, we have a lot of videos on that subject, because this is something that's been going on for 2 months. She broke a bone in one of her legs, an ankle bone, and then she broke two toes on her other leg a month later. All right. And this is also due to lack of vitamin D3 in her system, and obviously, like from from being outside. Even though I have bought her vitamin D3 supplements, she has not been taking enough. Okay, you need 10,000 IUs a day to be healthy. And I think that equals, I am not completely sure, but it equals, I think, a couple of hours outside. Okay, and depends, of course, how much skin you're exposing. So if you are in a hot country, obviously you're getting more vitamin D3 because it gets absorbed by the skin. And if you are not, if you're in a really cold country and you're only exposing your face, then you need to be a lot longer to get your vitamin D3. Okay. Um, that said, so doing things that make you happy. I think I just deviated to a health part, but so yes, being outside as much as you can. If you like, let's say you like to go for walks along lake shore, or in the park, or if you have pets, if you have dogs, you take them out for a walk, which is a wonderful thing. It motivates you being outside. So we have two dogs, and they have motivated both of us to go outside. Okay, so we have to be outside a few times a day, and that's a wonderful thing to apply in your life if you can. Okay, so if you can get dogs a dog, and you can motivate yourself to go outside every day, then that's a wonderful thing. There are other things that you want to do, and it's very important that you find um, time. Okay, you make time, because finding time usually, oh yeah, I don't have any spare time. You make time. Okay, you put this as a chore on your calendar, and this is how people make time to relax, and they make time to go and enjoy. And anybody who has busy lives, they understand that point. Okay, so you gotta make time. You gotta make time to relax. You gotta make time to be happy. If you are depressed, watch a lot of comedy. That's one of my best tips, which Virginia applies all the time. And be happy. Okay, and sometimes, if just being happy is turning your frown upside down, watching some comedy, going out with friends, having a few laughs, even excuse me, using media, it's not as good as being there in person, but you could, if somebody is, like, let's say, in a different part of the world, the city or whatever, and you have no way of getting to them, do that video call, make yourself happy, have a few laughs, and enjoy time with those who make you happy when you're around them. All right. um, Excuse me. I'm gonna drink some water because. Oh, this is much better. Okay. All right. Now, ask for help. So I did already talk about it a little bit, but ask for help your family members. Okay, sometimes you don't really get along with your family. Okay, sometimes you don't want to bother them. You don't want to bother your friends or your neighbors. uh, Ask for help when you need it. Okay, and your quality of life could change colossally even if you ask for a little bit of help. Okay, could be friends, could be neighbors, could be someone who, let's say, you need to work, and and you're stressing out because you don't know how to get your loved one to, excuse me, to an appointment that they need to go to. But let's say you have something that is really important for you to do at the same time, and you can't do it. You have family, friends, neighbors. Ask them for help. Okay, sometimes excuse me, in the communities, you can find services that can help to get your loved one to that appointment safely. There are some government assistances that will help you pay for some of these trips. So look into it if that's an issue, and let's say you need to work, or whatever the reason is that you're unable to go with them. Then find a way, keep on looking for the ways to make your life easier, and go through, let's say, communities in your area, because you really need um, for that help, that it's hands-on help, and you need somebody to be there. You can sometimes look into communities. You go, let's say, if you go to church or something like that, you could have people in your church that help you, and your neighbors as well, who could, let's say, walk somebody, or go for your loved one maybe once a day. Let's say you're working all day and you are not home, and you're paying somebody or something like that. Make sure that your loved one is outside at least once a day, so they are getting that vitamin D, that their bones are not brittle, and that that other health issues are not going to develop because they're indoors 24/7, which is very unhealthy. Okay. um so, and then government as well, uh, ask for help. There are some things like, for example, you could have government supplement some things like cleaning. If you are disabled and let's say you are taking care of someone else who's disabled, you could have some kind of help in helping you clean the apartment, prepare food. You gotta look into it in your area. Okay. um Now, number 5, don't be afraid. This is one of the things that I want to talk about, that may make you feel a little bit uneasy, but it's very important at the same time. Okay, so don't be afraid to put a stop to bad behavior. Okay, and talk things over, explaining why you said something to your loved one. Okay, you have feelings too, and sometimes we need to remind our loved ones and let them know when they have crossed a line. Okay, so because of our lives already being stressed, any kind of life. Okay, disability, hardship, financial hardship, physical hardship, emotional hardship can add to colossal to be a colossal stress on everyone involved. So, anyone involved in at home could have that stress because, of what's going on. And sometimes people have arguments. A lot of times it becomes to have a lot of arguments, okay, at home. And um, that goes for both parties. Okay, that goes for the person who is a caregiver, and for people who have epilepsy, seizures, or any other chronic illness, right? Who are homebound, or who are, who have to deal with this and hardship, which is a huge, huge, huge stress on everyone involved. Okay, so you need to understand and apply a lot of mindfulness. And sometimes if you catch yourself that you are being excessive in, let's say, raising your voice or saying things, just calm down right away. And whenever you catch uh, you, your thoughts and stuff, just apologize. And at the same time, do not be afraid to say, you know what, um can we're gonna talk later. Okay, please, let's just not, I am not here to argue. Let's talk later. So sometimes, um you let the person know that you don't want to argue. Okay, I don't want to argue. Okay, I don't want to argue. Okay, let's talk later. Let's take a rain check on that. They may want to fight, they may want to continue, but it's better to like leave at the moment, and or let them know that they are being excessive. I have let my daughter know because she's been on Kepler for a long time. So anyone who has been taking it knows that it's something that can produce a really bad behavior. Okay, and uh, sometimes to the point when it's rage, and then things can escalate if you don't understand not just what's causing it, but if you are not careful. Okay, we all have feelings. Okay, we all have feelings, and you need to understand that if you're making an argument with someone, whichever point you're coming from, whichever point of view, whichever you think you're right or whatever. You need to understand that everyone has feelings. That person who's listening to you right now, who you're trying to tell, yeah, that you are right, or you're trying to win an argument, sometimes it's better to just give in and come back, and let them know. Sometimes I would say, Virginia, this, I don't like what you're doing right now. This is not okay. I have feelings too. When you say something like that, you let them know. You're not yelling on them. You're not saying bad things. You're not offending them, but you're saying, this is not okay. This is too much, or this is too much for me. You're letting them know that they're going excessively, and you say, this is too much for me, and I just don't want to argue. All right, I have feelings too. All right, you're letting them know that you hurt, that you hurt. Not saying you hurt me, or just saying, I am hurt. I feel hurt right now. Okay? Or I feel upset right now. You got to say, from your point of view, say how you feel. Okay? So this is something I also have learned from a psychologist, and those are things that you learn over time when you're dealing with difficult behavior, which only I can only speak on that part from hands-on experience, from my own experience. So, and that's what I just did. Okay. Um, okay. And now, if I don't have anybody helping me to take care of the um uh, of to write down things for you, but on Friday I'm gonna have Virginia do the seizure talk, so I hope I'm gonna see you there. I'm not finishing up yet. I want to talk about resources and finding resources, not just in your area, but finding resources online. So Google is the best place to look for resources in your area. So when you go and you're looking for, let's say, caregivers, um, caregivers. Sorry, my thinking is really slow today for some reason. It's raining. Okay, I can blame the rain. So you look at Google in your area and you say, okay, caregivers resources, for example, or in my area, and or near me. I think that's what a Google Assistant does for you. So, or you put epilepsy support near me, or you go for caregiver support meetings or anything like that near me. So if you don't get the answers or results that you're looking for, just change a wording. Sometimes changing just one word could help you find what you're looking for. So don't be afraid, just to change the wording and then looking for the specific answers that you're looking for. Okay. Now, resources that I have found out online, you have tevacaregivers.com. So Teva, okay, I would say Teva. Sorry about the pronunciation. So Teva caregivers.com, and they have printable downloads. Now this is a Canadian website, but you can still print your information. They have like caregivers handbook. They have self-assessment. Okay, so for burnout, so self-assessment as a guideline to to find out if you're not sure if you feel burned out. If you think you feel burned out, you are. Okay, so you need to find resources that will help you to get out of that, and so you can help yourself, and you can help yourself to upkeep your health. That's physical and emotional, which go together. And they also have printable handbooks for, let's say, MS, dementia, and government. They have government resources. This is for Canada and others. So you can look on Google for your area, okay, whatever country you're in, you look it up in your country, for epilepsy support for caregivers in your area. So that would be the best wording if you're looking for epilepsy support. Epilepsy support for caregivers near me, or in your area, whatever, wherever you live, okay? So uh, what is the best takeout of today? Okay, the best takeout from today's video would be, um, reevaluate your situation when needed. Okay, always reevaluate your situation when things are starting to get too hard. Okay, when you start feeling that you're just giving too much, that you feel so run down, that you don't get enough sleep, that you don't you are trying to do things that feel impossible because there's just too much to do. And I have felt that hundreds and hundreds of times, thousands of times. Okay, this is anyone who who had kids and who had to do the caregivers, how who's been a caregiver for a long time, they understand my point of view. So reevaluate your situation when needed, and make the change. Do not be afraid of the change. Okay, find out what is the best thing that you can do for your personal, in your personal life. Everyone's situation is different, so it depends where you live, how you live, how much you make, what your hours are, what is the severity of your loved one's illness, um, how much time they need, when do they need it, if you have a support system. If you don't have, you really need to look into it and get a support system for yourself. Okay, now I myself, I pretty much, I don't have, the only support system that I've been looking for lately, because of my own illness. I have illnesses. I have not been able to get any support from family. Um, I grew apart from my friend, from pretty much any of my friends that I had. I have moved more than 30 times in my lifetime, more than 30 times. So I have not really made that stability, that I would love to have, and I have not been able to do that. Uh, and when you have some kind of stability, when you have family and friends, you ask for their help. Okay, and this is my best tip that I could give, because I have always wanted a big family, and unfortunately that has happened in my lifetime. But still, I have made the changes that were necessary when they were necessary. Okay, so and if I didn't, changes happened to me. Okay, and usually if changes happen to you, they're not the changes that that you wanted or you planned for, because you didn't plan for them. So if you know that the change is necessary, if you know something must happen, you go ahead and make the best out of it, and make the changes that will help you to have a better quality of life, and your loved one as well at the same time. Now I have personally, we have increased a little bit our quality of life, because I have looked into having actually a PSW to coming to help me, and to come and help Virginia. So this is a government funded activity, and we are very thankful for that we can still get that help. All right. Now there are things that if you need help with food, and you need help with clothing, I would strongly suggest that you watch the video. I had a video a little bit earlier on, and it was just check out the videos that were earlier on, and in one of them was like a super packed information for epilepsy, and that's the one that had a lot of information on epilepsy and support that you can get. Also, the online shopping, that was, I think, the first one before that. And then the online shopping video where you can do your shopping online, that one also had a lot of information. Okay, so you check this out. I would like to thank you for being with us today. With us. Sorry, Virginia's not, she's sleeping. She's not been feeling well for the last couple of days. So still come and join us for Friday's seizure talk, where we're going to be discussing seizures. We don't know yet what type of discussions we're going to have. I have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, so we're going to let you know in the preview of the upcoming live stream. Okay. Now, for those of you who would like to support the channel, you're welcome to help us, and we actually need a new laptop. And I was hoping that some of you who would like to do that, you can donate to our PayPal account, and I posted links below this video in the description. You have links for that. There are also links for a lot of equipment and help that you can get to help you at home, to help with um, some equipment that you need, to help with supplements that you need, so like vitamin D3 and magnesium and things like that. And the supplements and the equipment is for different countries. So if you're looking at Canada, or USA or UK, so you have those underneath the video. Okay. You can also find us on Facebook at Realexcel Epilepsy Realexcel Epilepsy Portal page and group. So you're welcome to join our group. And you can find us on Instagram under Epilepsy Portal. Okay. And also the links are below the video. All right. So lots of love to all of you. Like always, I would like to thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time. Take care.